Hello and welcome. My name is Adam, and here we are today talking about Madeira as a viable investment opportunity. I'm here to talk about 5 reasons why I think it's a great place to invest in and why I think it's a good investment. And also right at the end, I'll tell you a couple things to look out for, or a couple bits of advice I've kind of gained in virtue of trying to do exactly this and being here. So let's jump straight into it. The first thing is the price. In comparison to Lisbon, where it's 4,000 euros per meter squared, in Madeira it's essentially half that. It's around 2,300 meters squared in the main parts in Funchal. Now that varies depending on what parts of the island you go to, but you can find some real bargains less than 1,000 euros per meter squared, but you have to look out for those bargains, and you're not going to find them online on Idealista. And again, I'll talk about that towards the end. The second really great reason to why I think this is a viable investment opportunity is the golden visa. Now, they're removing the golden visa in mainland Portugal. Now, for those of you who don't know what the golden visa is essentially a way of buying permanent residency, which will eventually lead to citizenship in Portugal. So they're removing that in mainland Portugal, but they're keeping it in Madeira, and that's going to make property prices here rise, in my opinion, a lot higher, because those foreigners from the people from the global south, people not from Europe who do have cash to spend, who do want to retain citizenship in Europe, will come to Madeira to get that. So that's my second reason why I think it's a viable investment opportunity. My third reason is the weather. Now, the weather is really great here. It's really temperate. So in winter, it goes down to about 16 degrees, and in the summer, it goes up to around 30 degrees Celsius. Now, that's not too hot, that's not too cold. The only thing I would say is there are microclimates. So I met a local property investor here, and he kind of drove me around the island and gave me a tour. And some of the kind of things he was saying was really interesting. For instance, there were some parts of the island in certain months that just didn't see any sunlight, and that was due to the topography and the kind of position of the sun and these kinds of things. So that's something to look out for. So if you are interested in buying a property here, particularly in some of the other parts, in the east, all of the places that aren't the kind of main bits, it's really important that you have an understanding of the topography. So I think that was 3 reasons. I'm going to give you a 4th reason why I think it's, again, a really good and viable investment opportunity, is because now Madeira is positioning itself as a hub for digital workers, digital nomads, particularly in Ponta del Sol. There's a first European nomad village. I think there's that essentially amounts to a free co-working space and these kind of tech incubator vibes, and it's a really good opportunity to network with like-minded professionals. So yeah, I think there'll be more money coming in from these kinds of workers and these kinds of businesses. Now, 5th is that the local population are really nice. Not only are people really lovely here, but they are also really educated. So most people surprisingly speak English, from professionals to everyday people that you might bump into and just have a conversation with. Communication is really easy for an English speaker. Now, there are a couple things which I think are really important when investing here. The first is retaining local knowledge. You need a local person who's going to show you properties which aren't on Idealista, who are going to find you the good deals, who are going to know the families who are selling off parcels of land, bits of their building. You need somebody on the ground there. So we've spoken about why it's important to have that local knowledge, or that local person on the ground who does business here, to show you where the good deals lay, so you're not getting ripped off on these websites like Idealista. Now, the other part, it's more of a kind of a practical heads up, is that you need a fiscal number. That's essentially a tax ID and a bank account to open up, to purchase property, in fact. Good news for you, it's super easy to get these. We recently worked with a client who was able to open a bank account and get a fiscal number on the same day. So those are two things which you need to know how to do, and there isn't much information online on how to do these things quickly and easily. So if you would like to know how to do that, please comment here, reach out on the email below, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. Again, Madeira, in my opinion, is fantastic. Obviously, do your due diligence. You can only do your due diligence. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Ciao. Here we are in a typical Madeiran kitchen. You can expect to find a wood burner like this in one of these kitchens. If you found this YouTube video helpful, do like, do subscribe, and do pass it on to others that might also find value in this video. Thank you very much. Goodbye.